Only a few of the other kids in my neighborhood know about the ice cream truck that sells moon-flavored ice cream. It only sits in front of a random house at sunset and can disappear in a matter of seconds when you've had your back turned. Tommy was the first one to spot it. He said it appeared just before the sun went down on his way back from the playground. But don't eat it, man. I tried it once, and holy shit. Just don't eat the moon-flavored ice cream. I've never listened to Tommy. He always said not to try things, only so he could hoard them for himself. No one else paid any attention to him when he said this. Seriously, I'm not making it up this time, Tommy said, red-faced. The only thing I thought of was that Tommy is a really good actor. He'd do just about anything to keep a delicious treat or cutting-edge toy all to himself. One day I decided to try the moon-flavored ice cream for myself. The truck, painted a very striking moon theme, rolled up right across the street from my house. Liam, the moon truck just pulled up. My sister Sally pointed excitedly out the window. I stopped eating my mac and cheese and hurriedly went over to the window. Well, Sally was right. I glimpsed the moon on the very top of the truck, which made me smile. I quickly grabbed my coat and I dashed across the lawn, then the street, without even checking or stopped to look for cars. An old man, beady-eyed but somehow not very threatening looking, leaned out the window. What flavor, boy? The old man asked cheerily. You know, we have a secret, extra special moon flat, the old man started. Yeah, it's no secret since your truck is basically the moon on wheels, I replied, feeling a bit cheeky that day for some reason. You don't have to hype it up. 2 scoops of moon, please. No, wait, make it 4. My sister would never let me hear the end of it if I don't bring her back some. The old man leaned forward, chuckling. 4 scoops of the moon coming right up, the old man said, his tone light and jolly. He handed me the cones, still grinning. Now I was a little creeped out because of his constant, cheery expression. I won't keep you long, boy. I just want to let you know that I reward repeat customers. If you buy 8 or more cones, I'll take you on a free trip to the moon. Only 8, I asked. There wasn't a hint of sarcasm to my voice at all. And the old man just chuckled again. That's right, Squirt. Only 8. Now you run along and give your sister a chance to taste some of that delicious moon. I ran across the street, thinking about what the old man said. Once over on my side of the street, I turned back to look at the old man again. The truck had gone, and the sun was setting over Tommy's house. I took a quick lick of moon-flavored ice cream. It was very chunky, moon rock, I bet the old man would say, and the taste, strange. Moon apparently tasted like a combination of mint and a cherry flavor, but extra cold, so cold that my tongue stuck to it like it was a flagpole in January, at least for the first few seconds. I found myself addicted to every cold, crunchy lick. The taste was decent, but it was the fact that every time I licked the moon ice cream, I started to have weird visions of being in space, or of astronauts on fire. If Sally had the same experience, she didn't let on. She just laughed every time her tongue got stuck. That night before bed, Sally came up to me when Mom left the room to do the dishes after dinner. She had been gone for a while. Sally and I devoured the ice cream and didn't know anything about it. To my surprise, Sally didn't say anything to Mom. She must have known to keep it a secret. I saw the astronaut. Did you? Sally whispered in my ear. I nodded lightly, listening to the crickets chirp. She looked as frightened as I imagined I felt. I didn't have much time to talk to Sally before bed, and I thought about how maybe that was a good thing. I sat in bed for at least an hour that night, thinking about the astronaut on fire, maybe what it meant. Eventually, I fell asleep, a book to my chest. I woke up in the middle of the night, the sound of heavy banging on my closet doors, waking me up instantly. I just sat there, paralyzed. Then closet doors were opened by two large gloved hands. I was set back, my chest tightened in fear. I pulled the covers up to my chin, because in the grip of my terror, I didn't know what else to do. The gloved hands seemed to reach out farther. Then I could see a hulking astronaut suit emerging from the closet. It seemed huge as it stretched to its full height. It lumbered closer. The suit seemed to move incredibly slowly, but eventually reached the side of my bed.
We didn't land on the moon,
the astronaut said in a low, threatening whisper. The astronaut grabbed my hands in its thick gloves and repeated,
We didn't land on the moon.
Then it lumbered back to the closet, closing the doors. It took me a long time to fall asleep after that. I kept checking the closet for a few hours following the horrific thing that I saw, waiting to see the astronaut still crouching in the darkness, suddenly bursting into flame. But it didn't happen. I fell asleep around 3:30 in the morning. The last thing I remember was watching the closet door in the morning. Sally seemed somber as well. We both ate our cereal in silence, and my sister gave me a tired but knowing look. We didn't talk at all on the way to school. Before my mom dropped me off, she looked back and asked, Is everything alright with you? I've never experienced the car so quiet before. You and Sally are usually bickering like crazy, I said. I didn't know what was wrong with Sally. I gave the excuse of being on my phone until the early hours, so I wasn't able to get a lot of sleep. I offered the theory that Sally probably did the same. My mom just shook her head and motioned for me to get out of the car. She hated it when I was late for school. Most of the day passed uneventfully until I went to use the bathrooms on the 3rd floor. The halls were empty during the time I decided to go. My footsteps echoed in the halls. I opened one of the stalls, and there was the astronaut, lumbering and faceless, big, giant gloves reaching straight for my throat. I stifled a scream and remained immobile until fire spread from its head down its arms. At that point, I did give a shriek. Then I ran out and down the hall as quickly as I could. The rest of the day was a meeting with the principal, talking to my mom, who sounded so stressed and disappointed on the phone. When Mom picked me up later that day, the expression on her face made it worse. On the ride home, she said she didn't know what she was going to do with me. I'm going to have to call your dad, you know that, don't you? The sentence lingered in my brain during the entire ride home. I really didn't want her to call my dad, who lived several hours away and was the enforcer of her rules. After Mom said she wanted to take Sally out, and they'd go pick up some dinner, maybe KFC. But I thought it was more that she just needed to get away from the situation and didn't trust me alone with my sister. Sally and Mom were still gone by the time sunset came around. I thought about Sally then, wondering if she had a similar experience at school. But I didn't hear anything like that, so I assumed no, which was strange. The ice cream truck drove up to its place across the street. I was surprised it parked in front of my house 2 days in a row. After I crossed the street, I walked up to the window, practically fuming. The old man looked as jolly as ever. "Would you like 2 cones? One for you and one for your sister?" the old man asked. "Why the fuck did you put LSD in my ice cream?" I asked, my voice rising. "I saw this astronaut in my closet. It couldn't have been real, but I started seeing things as soon as I licked the ice cream. The ice cream you gave me." "Well, if you're gonna take a trip to the moon, you have to be prepared, young man. That is simply common sense." "Look, I want to know what the hell is going on. At first, I thought you were just a harmless, crazy old man selling weird ice cream, but after what I saw last night..." The old man's expression changed from cheery to somber. "Come into my truck, young man. I can tell just from this conversation that you have no respect for the process." The old man leaned closer to me, and I could smell the moon ice cream on his breath. "The first thing you need to know is that everything you saw last night was real. So, as I said, come into my truck. I can give you the full truth, if you are willing to accept the truth as it exists." Even though the old man's eyes sparkled with a kind of spacey malice, I felt the urge to comply. His jaw clenched, and I could tell for the very first time the old man was irritated with me. No, not just irritated, furious. The doors of the truck opened. Fear settled onto my shoulders and neck, making my muscles tense. Staring into the truck was like staring into complete and utter blackness.